I'm a 29-year-old woman named Amelia, and this happened 2 years ago. I'm finally ready to share this story because it took me this long to rebuild my career after my own boss betrayed me in the worst possible way. But I want other women to know that sometimes the people who claim to support your dreams are the ones plotting to steal them. I have been working at Meridian Technologies, a mid-sized software development company, for 4 years. I started as a junior developer and worked my way up to senior project manager. The company specialized in business automation software, and I had always been passionate about finding innovative solutions to complex problems. My boss, David Richardson, was 45 years old and had been the chief technology officer at Meridian for 8 years. He had built a reputation as a visionary leader who could spot talent and foster innovation. He was married with 2 teenage children and was well respected in the tech industry. David had always been supportive of my career growth. He would give me challenging projects, recommend me for training programs, and often praised my problem-solving abilities in team meetings. I genuinely admired his leadership style and considered him a mentor who was helping me advance in the male-dominated tech industry. For over a year, I had been working on a revolutionary idea for AI-powered supply chain optimization. The concept involved using machine learning algorithms to predict inventory needs, optimize delivery routes, and reduce waste in real time. I knew this idea could transform how businesses managed their logistics. I had been developing this concept during my personal time, researching market needs, creating prototypes, and building business models. I had invested countless hours and even some of my own money into developing the technical specifications and market analysis. The breakthrough came when I realized that my AI system could reduce business logistics costs by up to 40% while improving delivery times by 60%. I had created detailed algorithms, conducted market research, and even built a working prototype. This wasn't just an idea. It was a complete business solution ready for implementation. I was excited to share my innovation with David, hoping that Meridian could develop it as a new product line. I requested a private meeting with him to discuss my confidential project and the potential opportunities it could create for our company. During our meeting, David seemed genuinely impressed by my work. He asked detailed questions about the technical specifications, market potential, and implementation timeline. He praised my creativity and said this could be game-changing for Meridian Technologies. David suggested that we should develop the idea further before presenting it to the executive team. He offered to provide company resources and support to help me refine the concept. He said he wanted to ensure the proposal was bulletproof before we pitched it to senior management. I was thrilled by his enthusiasm and support. David assigned me to a special project team with access to advanced development tools and additional research resources. He said this would be a stealth project that we would keep confidential until it was ready for presentation. Over the next 3 months, I worked intensively on developing the AI system. David would check on my progress weekly, asking detailed questions about every aspect of the project. He seemed particularly interested in the technical algorithms and the business implementation strategy. David also introduced me to external consultants who he said could help refine the market analysis. These consultants asked probing questions about my research methodology, target markets, and competitive advantages. I shared everything openly, believing they were helping to strengthen my proposal. During this period, David began subtly changing how he spoke about the project. Instead of saying your idea or Emma's innovation, he started using phrases like our project and the team's development. At first, I thought this was just his way of emphasizing collaboration. David also started scheduling meetings about the project without including me. When I asked about these meetings, he said they were high-level strategic discussions and that he would update me on any relevant decisions. He assured me that my contributions were valued and that I would be fully credited when the project was finalized. The first major red flag came when I discovered that David had filed preliminary patent applications for key components of my AI system. When I confronted him about this, he said it was standard procedure to protect the company's intellectual property and that my name would be added to the patents later. I started feeling uncomfortable with how the project was being managed. David was making decisions without consulting me, bringing in new team members who didn't know about my original contribution, and speaking about the project as if it was his own initiative. David also began subtly undermining my confidence and credibility. He would question my technical decisions in front of other team members, suggest that I was in over my head with such a complex project, and imply that I needed more experienced guidance to succeed. The situation escalated when David announced that he was presenting the AI system to the board of directors as a new company initiative. He said I would be included in the presentation as a key team member, but that he would handle the strategic overview and executive summary. During the board presentation, David presented my AI system as his own innovation. He described the technical breakthroughs, market opportunities, and implementation strategy as if he had conceived and developed everything himself. I was introduced only as a talented developer who had helped implement some of the technical components. The board was extremely impressed and approved a $2.5 million budget to develop and launch the AI system as Meridian's flagship product. David was praised for his visionary leadership and innovative thinking. He was even given a substantial bonus and promoted to Senior Vice President of Innovation. I was devastated. My life's work had been stolen, and I was being treated as just another employee who had contributed to someone else's success. When I tried to speak up about my original contribution, David dismissed my concerns as team confusion and suggested that I was overestimating my role in the project. David also began a systematic campaign to discredit my contributions. He would tell colleagues that I had struggled with the complexity of the project and that he had guided me through the technical challenges. He painted himself as the mentor who had helped me succeed, while positioning me as someone who couldn't handle advanced projects independently. The final betrayal came when David moved me off the AI project team entirely. He said I was needed on other priorities, and that the project required more experienced developers for the implementation phase. I was reassigned to routine maintenance tasks while watching others work on my own innovation. David also began sabotaging my reputation within the company. He would exclude me from important meetings, give me negative performance reviews, and suggest to other managers that I was not ready for senior responsibilities. He was systematically destroying my career to ensure I couldn't challenge his theft of my work. I realized that David had been planning this theft from the moment I shared my idea with him. He had used his position of trust and authority to steal my innovation while making me complicit in my own exploitation. He had turned my dreams and hard work into his personal success story. The situation became even worse when I learned that David was planning to license the AI system to other companies for millions of dollars. He was going to profit enormously from my work while I received nothing but a regular salary and damaged reputation. I knew I had to fight back, but I also knew that David had more power, resources, and credibility than I did. I needed to be strategic about how I exposed his theft while protecting myself from further retaliation. I decided to gather irrefutable evidence of my original contribution to the AI system. I began collecting all my research notes, early prototypes, email communications, and development timelines. I also started documenting David's lies and contradictions about the project's origins. I hired an intellectual property lawyer who specialized in workplace theft and patent fraud. She confirmed that David's actions constituted multiple violations of employment law, intellectual property rights, and fiduciary duty. She also helped me understand my legal options for recovering my stolen work. Over the next 4 months, I built a comprehensive case against David. I found evidence of his systematic deception, his false patent applications, his misrepresentation to the board, and his deliberate sabotage of my career. I also discovered that this wasn't his first time stealing employees' ideas. The investigation revealed that David had been running a pattern of intellectual property theft for years. He would identify promising innovations from subordinates, steal their ideas, and then marginalize the original inventors to prevent them from exposing his crimes. I was just his latest victim. I also found evidence that David had been lying to the board about other projects and had been inflating his own contributions to company successes. He had built his reputation on stolen work and false claims, while systematically destroying the careers of talented employees who threatened his position. Armed with this evidence, I decided to expose David publicly while simultaneously pursuing legal action. I wanted to destroy his reputation the way he had destroyed mine, but I also wanted to protect other employees from his predatory behavior. I arranged a meeting with the board of directors under the pretense of discussing my transition to a new role. I told them I had important information about the AI project that they needed to know before making further investments. At the meeting, I presented all the evidence methodically. I showed my original research, notes, early prototypes, development timelines, and patent applications. I explained how David had stolen my work and systematically lied to the board about his contributions. The room fell silent as the reality of David's fraud became clear. The board members were shocked to learn that their visionary CTO had been stealing employees' ideas and lying about his own capabilities. They realized that their $2.5 million investment was based on deception. David tried to deny everything at first, claiming that I was disgruntled and trying to sabotage the company. But the evidence was overwhelming. The timestamps on my original files, the progression of my research, the patent applications, everything proved that the AI system was my original work. The board immediately suspended David and launched a full investigation into his conduct. They hired external auditors to review all his projects and patent applications. They also brought in legal experts to assess the company's liability for his fraudulent activities. The investigation revealed that David had stolen ideas from at least 6 other employees. Over the years, he had been building his career on other people's work while systematically destroying their reputations and careers. The full scope of his predatory behavior became clear. David was immediately fired from Meridian Technologies and faced multiple lawsuits from the employees he had victimized. The company also faced potential legal action from clients who had been deceived about the origins of their products and services. The most satisfying moment came when David's professional reputation was completely destroyed. Industry publications covered the story, describing him as a fraud who had built his career on stolen innovation. His professional network abandoned him and he became unemployable in the tech industry. The legal proceedings were complex, but ultimately successful. David was charged with intellectual property theft, fraud, and breach of fiduciary duty. He was also facing civil lawsuits from multiple victims seeking damages for their stolen work and damaged careers. During the trial, more victims came forward. Other employees testified about David's pattern of stealing ideas and destroying careers. The full extent of his predatory behavior became public, and he was exposed as a serial exploiter of talented subordinates. David's defense team tried to argue that idea development was collaborative and that he had made significant contributions to the projects, but the evidence showed that his role was purely exploitative. He had contributed nothing original while stealing everything valuable. The most rewarding outcome was the recognition of my original contribution to the AI system. The board formally acknowledged that the innovation was my work and offered me a substantial settlement, stock options, and a promotion to head the new AI division. David was sentenced to 3 years in prison and ordered to pay full restitution to all his victims. His professional certifications were revoked, and he was banned from holding executive positions in technology companies. He also faced additional charges related to patent fraud and securities violations. My AI system was successfully launched and became Meridian's most profitable product line. The company generated over $15 million in revenue in the first year, and I received substantial bonuses and recognition for my innovation. I was also promoted to Chief Innovation Officer. The case also led to industry-wide changes in how companies handle employee innovations and intellectual property. New policies were implemented to protect inventors and prevent managers from stealing subordinates' ideas. My experience became a case study in business ethics courses. 2 years later, I've built a successful career as a respected innovator in the tech industry. I speak at conferences about intellectual property protection and mentor young women in technology. I've also developed 3 additional AI systems that have generated millions in revenue. David occasionally sends messages from prison, claiming he's sorry and asking for forgiveness. But I know his apologies are just another manipulation tactic. His actions were calculated and predatory, designed to exploit talented employees while building his own fraudulent reputation. The most important lesson I learned is that predators often hide behind masks of mentorship and support. David wasn't a stranger trying to steal from me. He was a trusted supervisor who used his position of authority to exploit my trust and hard work. I'm sharing this story because I want other women to protect their intellectual property and trust their instincts when something feels wrong. If someone is trying to control your work or marginalize your contributions, document everything and seek independent advice. Innovation requires vulnerability and trust, but it also requires protection. We need to be aware of how our ideas can be stolen and how to safeguard our contributions in competitive professional environments. David thought he was clever, using his position and authority to steal my work while destroying my reputation. But in the end, the truth always comes out, and fraudsters always face consequences, no matter how well they hide behind their masks of respectability. David is now 47 and will likely never work in technology again. He lost his career, his reputation, his freedom, and his future. Meanwhile, I've built a successful career based on genuine innovation and earned recognition. The revenge was complete, but more importantly, justice was served. David can't steal from any more talented employees, and his pattern of exploitation was exposed and stopped. Sometimes I think about the young developers who might have been his future victims. They're safe now because we stopped him. That's the real victory, not just getting revenge on David, but protecting other potential victims from experiencing what I went through. In the end, the truth always comes out, and predators always face consequences, no matter how well they hide behind their masks of authority and mentorship.